Thank you for being a member. This video is only for fellow travelers and adventure partners. Today, I am showing you my complete Vietnam budget breakdown. Not high-level estimates, not rough ranges, exact numbers. My actual spreadsheet, every category. What I'm planning to spend each month, what happens if I go over, and what my emergency plans are. This is the real plan. Let's dive in. The big picture. Total monthly goal is $1,200 to $1,500 a month. I do have flexibility in my budget, however, I'd like to stay within this range. $1,200 being the bare minimum for comfortable living, and $1,500 giving me breathing room and some fun money. The average target, $1,350 a month. I have multiple remote income streams, enough to cover this comfortably with room to save. Let's break down my monthly budget with the exact numbers. Housing, $400 to $600 a month with a target of $500 a month. Now we are getting to the season where it is prime real estate season in Vietnam. I may have to adjust this number slightly once I get there. I am still seeing some apartments at $200 a month or even below $200 a month for studios outside of the tourist area, but I'm also seeing some 1-bedroom and 2-bedrooms that are going closer to $1,000 that used to be around $500-600. A lot of the apartments showing up are being listed as luxury apartments. Meanwhile, they are the same apartment that 6 months ago went for about half the price. What will my target get me? A 1-bedroom apartment or a studio. Preferably the Mike Beach area or even out further away from the An Thong tourist area where most expats and Americans settle. I'm really looking at Than Key. This is a budget backup. You can get a much better quality for your dollar. I want a furnished apartment, bed, desk, kitchen basics. Prefer a separate bedroom, but willing to sacrifice for a studio for the right view, the right neighborhood, the right everything. Wi-Fi included. This is a must. All of my businesses, all of my income are tied to working remotely, and I need to be able to access the internet in order to do that. This is usual. It's usually included. My specifications are I want a dedicated connection, not shared, and preferably high speed, the highest possible. I am willing to pay a premium to get that. Air conditioning, yeah, that's a must-have, and most apartments, you're going to find that in them. And I'd like the flexibility of a month-to-month lease. Now, I understand that some places are in high demand, and landlords would like 3 months up front. If I have to, I will. Again, it must be the perfect place. So let's break this down. $400 basic studio. Could even be in Than Key, which could be further from the beach, although I have seen some that are right on the beach. This is not the tourist beach with all the amenities. This is the local beach. $500 could be a 1-bedroom in Mai Key or maybe even the An Thong area. I really prefer not to be in An Thong because everything is a little bit more expensive there. Plus, that's where all the noise, the chaos, and everything is of all the tourists and expats. $600 could be a nicer place closer to the beach if I splurge. What's not included? Utilities. These are a separate line item cost, and it will vary from apartment to apartment. Typically, you're going to see about 4,000 dong per kilowatt. Deposits, this will vary. Sometimes they'll want 1 to 2 and sometimes even 3 months up front as a one-time cost. So you'll put down a 1-month deposit plus pay 3 months rent. So you're looking at 4 months that you have to have up front. Let's talk about food. If you guys watch the channel enough, you know I'm a foodie. I love to eat. I love trying new foods. I love exploring new foods and new dishes and just getting in and enjoying what I'm eating. My food budget is probably higher than most. My food budget is going to be $200 to $300 a month with a target around $250. This breaks down to about an $8 a day average. This is a mix of local food at $2 to $4 a meal and the occasional Western meal for $6 to $10 a meal. My typical week, have a banh mi or bonnet for breakfast, costing me $1 or $2. For lunch, find a rice dish or a banh mi and spend $2 to $3. Dinner, a mix of local at $3 to $4 and nicer meals at $8 to $10. And then we throw in snacks and groceries at $20 to $30 a week. Why? Because sometimes the restaurants aren't open. Sometimes you want something while you're sitting at home. My buffer, $200 if eating only local food and I cook more. $300 eating out more, Western food maybe twice a week. I don't see that happen. There's not a lot of Western foods that I'm going to crave. The one thing I will crave is barbecue. And I will only be doing that probably once a month. Now that's going to take a lot of willpower on myself to limit myself to one. So if I find an apartment further away, it's a little bit of a hassle to get there, and that'll help keep me on par. If you saw the video that I did the other day, you saw that I was looking at an apartment and found out it was right behind Dirty Fingers. That is not good for my budget. That apartment, quickly, everything in there, amenities, what it offered, the nice big balcony, matched up 100%, but I cannot be right behind the barbecue joint that's calling my name every single night. Bye-bye budget, right? Let's talk about transportation. I'm budgeting $40 to $60 a month with a target of $50. The breakdown, Grab, which is Vietnam's Uber for most trips. The average Grab ride in Da Nang is going to cost me about $1 to $3, depending on where I end up settling and where I'm going. I can walk for nearby stuff and no scooter initially, but might reassess it after month 2 or 3. Monthly usage, 15 to 20 Grab rides per month would be about $30 to $40. Occasional longer trips, $5 to $10. And I'm going to buffer in for unexpected trips of another $10. My utilities, I'm budgeting $30 to $50 a month. The target is $40. Now keep in mind, it gets hot there. You're going to want to run the AC. So some months it may be over the $50, but the months that are under it will balance it out. The breakdown on this, electricity, $15 to $25. AC usage really affects this. Water, $3 to $5. That is water for use in your apartment, showering, doing laundry, doing dishes, that type of water, not the bottled water delivery. I have the bottled water delivery factored into my food money. It's part of groceries. Internet, it's usually included, but if not, then I'm willing to pay $10 to $15 a month for high-speed internet. Phone, $8 to $15 a month with a target of $12. This includes Tello, which I'm using to keep my US phone number, as well as local phone service. I've been shopping around and I see that I can get probably about 5 to 7 gigs per day with a local phone carrier in Vietnam for about $7 a month. The Vietnamese SIM card would be for data and calls. I need a local phone number that can be registered so I can use apps like Shopee and Lazada to have things delivered to me. Those are the Amazon of Vietnam. My US number service is going to run me about $5 to $6. This covers unlimited data in Vietnam, my call and texts while I'm in Vietnam, and keeping a US phone number for two-factor authentication with banks and other financial institutes. Health insurance. This is a big one that a lot of people have asked me about. I am not paying for international health insurance. Here's why. For a 50-year-old, services like Safety Wing run $417 a month or over $4,500 a year. That's an enormous amount of money for an in case it happens plan. Instead, I'm taking that same $4,500 a year and putting it into a high yield savings account. That becomes my medical emergency fund, dental fund, and yes, even electronics theft coverage. Healthcare in Vietnam is a fraction of the US cost. Doctor visits are $10 to $30. An MRI that costs over $2,000 in the US runs about $200. I'd rather have real cash available than pay a premium every month and fight with an insurance company if something happens. Safety Wing, which is a great program that many expats jump on, is not a direct pay to the medical provider. You have to pay up front and then file a claim to get reimbursed. So either way, you need to have this cash reserve to pay for your medical care. This is my approach. I am not a financial advisor. You need to make the right decisions for your own situation. Let's talk about entertainment and lifestyle money, right? I'm throwing in $100 a month. Why? Because I'm going to want a massage at least once a week. You're talking $10 to $15 a pop. I'm going to have other activities where I'm going to want to explore things, visit different neighborhoods, or sightsee and visit some of the attractions. This also includes day trips, fun money, and movies, and just random spending. On a tight month, this is the first area that I cut back. On a good month, I might splurge a little extra on a day trip or a nicer dinner. And then I've got a miscellaneous $50 a month. This is my catch-all. Household items, clothing, occasionally, unexpected small expenses, and any toiletries I might need. My total monthly budget, fixed costs, housing $500, phone $12, brings to a total of $512. The variable costs, food at $250, transportation at $50, utilities at $40, entertainment at $100, miscellaneous at $50, for a subtotal of $490. That is a total of $1,002 a month, giving me a buffer of $200 to $350 for a grand total of $1,200 to $1,350. Great, we've got this all figured out. But Kevin, what happens if you go over budget? Well, scenario one, the apartment ends up costing me more. So maybe it's $600 instead of $500. Then I cut my entertainment, $75 instead of $100. I cook more, eat out less. $200 of food instead of $250. Still under $1,350 a month. Scenario two, I end up spending $1,500 a month consistently. Well, then I need to assess, where is my money going? Cut entertainment first, move to a cheaper neighborhood. Hello, thank you. Cook more meals at home, or find a cheaper apartment. And let's talk about scenario three, an emergency expense. Medical, flight home, whatever. Emergency and medical savings fund comes into play here. I can pick up extra work. At worst case scenario, I go back to the US and I regroup and figure out what I'm doing. Bank some money, come back and enjoy life again. So while we talk about emergency expenses, let's talk about my emergency fund and safety net. Besides my self-insured medical account, I will also be maintaining an emergency fund account. This account will house $5,000 to $10,000. I will keep it in a US bank high yield savings account so that it continues to make money for me. This is for medical emergencies like large expenditures above and beyond what my medical fund has. Flight home for whatever reason. Maybe a family member gets sick. Maybe a family member passes away. Maybe I get sick and have to go back to the US. That's what this is for. This is a separate account from my self-insured fund. I do not touch this money unless there is a true emergency. What qualifies as an emergency? Serious illness, injury requiring hospitalization, family emergency requiring a flight back to the US, political instability requiring evacuation. Yes, that is a reality when you live in another country. And catastrophic expenses that I can't cover with my normal monthly budget. My safety net, multiple remote income streams. If one dries up or has a bad month, the others continue to produce. Flexibility, I can always move to a cheaper neighborhood or city if needed. No long-term contracts. I can leave at any time if it's not working. 3-month and 6-month projections. Well, my first 3 months, April through June, I'm expected to go over my budget initially. Why? It's a learning curve. I'm figuring out where to shop, where to eat, and where to live. I will also have one-time costs like apartment deposit, maybe some furniture, maybe some items that I need to make it home. My estimated total for 3 months is $4,500 to $5,000 versus the $3,600 if I was on budget. Months 4 through 6, this is July through September, I should be on budget by now. I should know the cheap spots. I should have a routine established. My estimated total, $3,900 to $4,200, closer to that $1,300 a month average. My 6-month reality check, this is going to be in October. Am I consistently under $1,350 a month? Then I stay. Am I consistently over $1,500 a month? Well, then I need to adjust my budget. Am I burning through my savings? Well, then I definitely need to reassess the entire plan. Income versus expenses. If my income was $2,000 a month and my expenses were $1,350 a month, that would give me $650 to put away in savings, comfortable and sustainable. If my income was only $1,500 a month, expenses $1,350 a month, savings is $150. Tight, but doable. If my income drops below $1,200 a month, we have a problem. I need to cut expenses or increase my income. This means picking up more work, reducing the budget, or reassessing. My goal is to maintain at least $300 to $500 a month savings cushion. I'm not just surviving, but I'm building a medical emergency fund each and every month. My true income cost, I will not disclose, but I will tell you They're a lot more than $2,000 a month. Let's not forget I need to include money for visa run costs. It's just a factor of living in another country. Every 90 days, I will need to leave Vietnam and re-enter. Whether this is a bus run or a flight to someplace like Thailand, Cambodia, that might cost me $100 to $200 a round trip. Plus 2 to 3 nights accommodation, $60 to $100, food and expenses, $50 to $100. New e-visa fee, $25 or $50. The total per run could end up being $235 to $425. The frequency, 4 times a year I need to do this. Total annual cost, $1,000 to $1,700 a year. Monthly, that's $85 to $140 a month that I need to put away in an account that covers my visa runs. Now, if I do just the bus runs to Laos, that budget drops. You're talking less than $200 a trip. You're talking like $150, $160. The price fluctuates. How am I budgeting for this? I'm saving $100 to $150 a month separately in an account just for visa runs. I don't include it in my monthly living expense. I treat it as a forced mini vacation every 90 days. So there you have it. This is my budget. It's conservative with built-in buffers. It's flexible, can adjust up or down. It's realistic for my lifestyle, not luxury, not struggling. What I'm not including, big one-time purchases. What if I need to buy a new laptop, a new camera, or other gear? Traveling outside of Vietnam beyond the visa runs. I have a trip planned for the fall, provided everything is going well in the Middle East. I'm going to be going to Pakistan. I need to put money away for that trip. Why am I sharing this with members only? Well, you've supported the channel. You deserve transparency. Hopefully this helps you plan if you're thinking about a similar move. Thank you for being a member. This is something I plan on reviewing and doing at least once a month to let you know where we're at, how we're making out, how is the budget going. Are we on target? Did we miss the target? Do we need to reevaluate? This is the real plan. Exact numbers, no bullshit. I have 17 days left in the United States before I make my way to Vietnam. Let's see if this plan survives contact with reality. See you in Vietnam.